Okay, we did it.
We're here.
Hi, we're live. We're on Facebook Live again because we're trying it out again.
Champ got a new computer.
I got a new computer, so we'll see what this fancy thing can do. Probably not what I needed to.
Probably exactly what every other computer does.
Yeah, no, exactly. It goes fast.
It goes so fast.
Me computer goes so fast.
Me computer fast.
Me computer fast. Okay, so hi, welcome to Talk Comics to Me.
It's not Wednesday.
It's not Wednesday, it's Thursday. I'm Champenstein.
I'm thirsty. I'm Heather.
And we're here to talk about comic books. This week the last several weeks, past 6 months.
Year.
2-3
years.
Yeah, have been just garbage, and the world has definitely decided to explode and do what it needs to do. So we're not mad at it.
No, can't be.
We can't be, and it's 100% necessary. And with me just finishing Transmetropolitan, I feel like it's just 100% in line with what needs to be happening currently. So yeah, I think both of the books that we were going to talk about first kind of fall in line with, I guess, not necessarily what's happening, but
shares the same kind of sentiment.
Yeah, shares the same sentiment. So I don't know. We hope you're all doing well. That's all,
Okay, so I have this cute little trait. I said cute. It is cute in a way, I guess. It's called "We'll Soon Be Home Again." And it is about 6 kids who survived the Holocaust. It's 6 different stories, and each of the kids tell their own stories. They're all wildly different. They all grew up in different situations, but they all obviously end the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to read. I have a very difficult time reading books about the Holocaust, but I do it anyway because I'm a masochist and I love making myself cry, apparently. So yeah.
Plus it's important.
No, it's very, very important. So I read this book over the course of 6 hours, and I cried maybe 12 times. It's very, very good. But yeah, one of the girls in here was even in the same concentration camp at the same time as Anne Frank. Didn't know her or anything, but they both ended up getting.
It wasn't
typhoid?
Yeah, it wasn't cholera, was it?
No, it started with a T. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was just so distracted while reading this. But anyway, this book is really good, but I think it's really important to read because of everything that is, happening in the world and how history does like to repeat itself, apparently, because we never learn.
Yeah, we absolutely don't learn.
So I definitely suggest this. It's a Swedish book. Oh, all the kids, when they were liberated from the concentration camps, they all ended up in Sweden at different times because that's where the hospitals and stuff were. So that's where they either met their family if they had survived, or that's how they lived until they were able to go somewhere else. So yeah, it's very hard to read.
Wow.
It is.
I have Far Sector. This is issue number 6. This book is very, 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 very good. It's by N.K. Jemisin and Jamal Campbell, and the art and the story itself are both really, really brilliant. I really like how this issue starts because it does have this kind of ridiculous soap opera type synopsis of what had been going on in the previous issues. So it's pretty great.
It reminds me of pulp films.
Yeah,
from the 70s.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
I mean, at least that. Otherwise, the book itself is insanely sci-fi, and not necessarily like that at all. But
the art is incredible, though.
Yeah, no, the art is outstanding. That's one of the parts of this book that really, really, really sells it for me. It's just because it's so beautiful to look at, especially with all of the sci-fi escapes. But anyway, what's happening is the city enduring emotion is illegal, and they're kept artificially suppressed through the use of a thing called the emotion exploit. and the council has been controlling everybody with this kind of emotional exploit, including themselves, and they are controlling people to a point where there have been like riots, and there's an epidemic of people like having emotions and like having those emotional murders. So a lot of the riots and the people who are trying to protest are protesting because they want to feel these emotions. They don't want to feel suppressed anymore. And this is something that's been happening on this planet, in this city, for years and years and years. The council's been controlling them. People have had riots and tried to protest, and then they've basically killed all of those people and then started all over with everything, kind of making people forget that these things had happened in the past. So that's kind of like what's happening in this book at this point. So Jo, the Green Lantern in this story, has been trying to get the council to do the right thing and not kill these people, or like basically put them back into this place where they won't remember what these emotions feel like. And one of the counselors who does take I can't remember the name of the drug, but it's maybe it's Shut Off or something like that. He takes this drug where he does like feel emotions, and so everything she has said to him within the city council meeting supposedly hits home for him, and he's deciding to resign, and this is like a very large, like a very big deal. So that's Far Sector.
So I think you might have just answered it, but maybe not as in depth as I wanted. Well, I'm just how exactly does Green Lantern like come into play, like the superhero aspect of Green Lantern?
Well, she's just like, because the murder happened there, they sent her there.
Okay.
There's also a lot of like her backstory, because in this they also touch on the fact that she was probably a cop on Earth and maybe like made some large mistakes.
Okay.
And that also plays into like her power, like Green Lantern power, and I don't know, this book is really interesting. Honestly, I probably should have gone back and read the first 5 issues before rereading this, but it was one of those things where it's just like, fuck it, I just want to read it. So yeah. I did the wrong thing.
No, you did the right thing.
But this book is really great on all, it just fires on all cylinders.
16 horsepower?
Yeah. Whatever. 120.
I don't know what any of that means. I'm just like, how are they going to compare it to a horse?
But yeah, no, I really do think this book is worth it, especially, it is very relevant. And N.K. Jemisin, I've never read any of her other books, but she does do a lot of things where I guess she does try to put a lot of like real life stuff within like her stories.
Can you,
even though they're like sci-fi and
right, they're just like different aspects of it. Off the top of your head, can you think of what else she's written?
I believe they're in the back of this book. So there's a book.
Oh my god, she is so pretty.
Yeah, she's gorgeous, right?
What the fuck?
You should see the artist. He is also very, very pretty.
I've never heard of any of those, but
okay. A book called Fifth Season, The Obelisk Gate, and then The Stone Sky. I believe they're all part of a series of books. Yeah, the Broken Earth trilogy.
Hell yeah. You know I fucking love fantasy.
Yeah. So, yeah, totally worth it. And went on a little bit of a tangent there.
That's okay. That gives me something to read now. I learned something new. We all learned something new.
So yeah, check out her books. Maybe I should also check out like some of her other books, since I also, like sci-fi and fantasy.
I'm probably just honestly going to go home and buy them. Like, when I get home, I'll find her publisher's website and buy them from there. Because that's what I've been doing. Instead of like, I know buying from Amazon is way cheaper, but you can get coupons for the actual publisher's websites. Because that's the main reason why I always shopped on Amazon, was because books were way cheaper there, because I have Prime through family. But I've been doing the thing where I find who the publisher is, go find it, and then if you also like sign up, sometimes you get free shipping and shit. So I've been saving a lot of money.
All right. We cheat. We learn.
Yeah, I find ways around it to save myself money because I'm poor.
Yeah, I mean, I get
and
it.
if I spend more than like $20 on a book with shipping, I feel guilty. Even though I enjoy it later, I'm just like, there's gotta be an easier way.
I mean, I just went to look for a book that I wanted to buy, Memory Police. Like Warren Ellis had like suggested a few like newsletters ago. And
a few orbitals ago.
a few orbitals ago, which always make my day.
They're great.
Anyway, I went to go buy that book, and I was just like, it was like $15 digitally. I was like, $15?
I know.
Like, I'm not going to pay $15 to own a book, like, not really. Like, it's just on this electronic, like, it's on this electronic device. If I'm going to own a book, it better be, like, especially $15, it better be in my fucking hands.
Better be hardcover. You better take that dust sleeve off, and it's got a cool design on it.
Yeah, like, I'll probably end up spending the money and, like, buying the physical copy of that book, but Jesus Christ, $15.
I know, that's insane. That's why I can't, like, most digital things. That's why I got that, like, unlimited digital book account. It's like $10 a month, and I get unlimited access to the world's worst books in the entire world. And you know what? I read them just to read them.
Yeah, I just $15.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the reason I also can't, like, collect comics digitally either, because I'm just like, if I'm gonna pay $4, I'm gonna hold that bitch.
Mm-hmm. That's why I always end up getting the first trades of, like,
oh yeah,
image books, and then I can never get anything after that because I'm like, well, this was $9.99. Everything's it's like $16.99. Why am I gonna spend more on these? It's the same amount of books. I'm cheap, guys.
We're both cheap. Listen to
Yeah.
that. That was a good cheap person rant.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we're
All
just
right.
going to keep talking about comics that we spent money on. So this is The Last God. This is that source book that I've been so excited about for months now.
Yeah, both of us. And honestly, both of us are idiots because we just thought this was going to be, like, information about The Last God.
Just like a glossary. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, in my head, I was just like, yeah, they're going to make a whole glossary, and it's...
But guess what, folks? This is actually a D&D source book, so it's 5e compatible, and it's just got, I believe there's a little story in here, right?
Yeah.
For The Last God.
Yep.
And you just, you get to D&D The Last God, and the art is great.
It's so
I
good.
don't know if you can see this very well. I'm trying to do my best. Sorry, I can't. But it looks great. I
mean, considering how excited we were for this anyway, I didn't think I could be more excited until I opened it.
Yeah,
and
no,
then I
I
was
think-
like, oh!
Yeah, I think that excitement alone was because I was just like, oh, I thought it was just going to be a dictionary, which
Yeah.
was totally fine.
I was totally cool with that too. I was like, cool, I'm just gonna, like, open this and be like, oh, this is the index, okay. Stupid.
But it's even better.
God.
Yeah, no, because we opened, I was like, oh my God, did you see this?
I think we're the only people that were like, yeah, that's not what it is, even though it says source book on it.
Yeah, I feel like it had to have said in the solicits what it actually was.
I don't feel like it did because I feel like we would have known.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, this is great.
Yeah.
We're excited. for
We're
it.
excited, so maybe someday we'll do a Last God D&D campaign. But yeah, if you like Last God or if you're reading it, that is a book where you can just run a fucking campaign off
Run
of
your own
it.
cute little campaign. Okay, so
Oh wait, I was like, wait, what's happening?
it's still me. It's me. So I have okay, let's do this. Critical Role, Vox Machina Origins, series number 2. This is the final issue number 6, and this concludes Grog's whole possession healing. I don't know what else to consider it. They got the nightmare and the heart of the harpy, I believe is what it was. I don't know.
I
can't remember. Anyway, they got the things that they needed. They took it back to the weird old warlock hanging out in his library.
Sometimes I do remember, but it's been a long time since we talked about
Yeah,
this book.
I had to like go back and be like, what happened in the last issue? But yeah, they get all the things that they need. The warlock casts the spell. Grog is freed, and then that leads up to some number of episodes in what they did. And Percy is now a part of the group because of this. So this is, I guess, more or less how Percy became a part of the group. Which, by the way, his name, Percival Frederickstein von Musel Klasowski de Rollo III. So he's officially now a part of the group, which I was very excited about. Still, just absolutely love this. The art is fantastic. Vax is still my favorite character. I don't think anything can change that now. But yeah, apparently there's going to be more. It says it will be continued in Origin Series number 3. So I'm excited to see who the next Origin is. Yeah.
Alright. Fun. I next have Finger Guns. It's number 2. And if you remember in the first issue, this has been a while, the kids can shoot, they find out they can shoot people and change their emotions. The young man can change, I guess I should remember their goddamn names. I remember her name, it's Sadie. But boy's name, can't remember off the top of my head, so we're just gonna skip it like we usually do.
Call him Sudi.
Sudi.
Yeah, Sadie and Sudi.
Sadie and Sudi. So he usually can change people to be angry, and she usually can change them to be calm.
So it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, kind of. And then they're just trying to figure out like what they can do with these powers and like what emotions they control. Sadie decides to print off like a sign language chart and to see if they can like do things via sign language, and that doesn't seem to be the case. You also get just kind of a more in-depth look into like Sadie's home life and what that's like for her.
Wes.
Did you see that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know how I saw that. It's just his name's
Wes, not Sadie. So yeah, it's really interesting. I like how like both of these kids their home lives are just kind of shitty, and they just, you know, kind of came together and were able to find each other, and they're just trying to figure this stuff out and try to figure out like how to be kids. Like he's showing her music that he used to listen to with his.
Is that supposed to be a generic Green Day American Idiot cover?
I'm sure it is something that I'm supposed to know, but I don't.
That's immediately what I thought of.
I did not think of that. I figured it looked like some sort of like, you know, probably like 90s emotional thing. Probably should look it up. But talking about listening to records and how like his mom had passed away and like her records were put in a different place and all of these sorts of things. So, you know, just also real life sad shit.
It's always fucking real.
It's okay.
I hate real life. I'm gonna have to spend $20 on this book that I want so I can get lost for a day.
Okay, so then next we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Every Generation. This is I think just a one-shot.
Yeah, our coworker had said, is this like an annual?
I suppose.
And I was like, I guess in a way that it is.
Yeah, I could see that. So this tells the story of 3 different Slayers by 3 different writers and 3 different artists. So, I don't know, the first story follows Buffy while she's in that is Buffy, right?
Yeah.
Buffy while she's in the Hellmouth, and this is after all of the events of the Hellmouth are happening that this particular story happens. I don't know if this like connects in any way, shape, or form to mainline story Buffy, because it was like I really liked the aspects of it they put into there, but then I was just like, well, am I not going to be able to see this in main Buffy? Because I'm a little upset.
Yeah, I'm very confused by it because I wasn't sure if it was like before, after, if it was like during, if this was like when Buffy was in the Hellmouth, like, or
is it just like an alternative idea of something that could happen?
Right, I thought it was strange. Oh, sorry, we're a little crooked. I'm gonna fix us. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lordy.
Okay, there we go.
And then the second story is about a Slayer named Tabby, and she's from the Philippines.
This one was my favorite.
Was it?
Yeah.
You should talk about it.
I really like the art for it, to be honest. I like the mythology and stuff with the Helat. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but I actually meant to like look up Philippines like mythology and stuff and see if like I could find more about this character, because I didn't know about this thing at all.
Yeah, no. Either did I.
But I do really like it. I love the art.
I just like the way it kind of reminds me of like Miyazaki in the way that it looks, short of like, you know, full on Miyazaki shit.
Yeah. So there's, I don't know how, I can't see the screen, but there it is. There's some. It's really almost cute while being like vicious at the same time, which I thought was really interesting. And I did also really like the last story, mainly just the last page, to be completely honest, because that is so cool.
Yeah, no, and then the third story is about What's her name on the front page?
Don't ask me.
Una. And she is in Dublin in 1947, and she is going to try to rescue a friend from a psych ward called the Sisters of Angelus.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she finds out they're a bunch of vampire nuns, and she decides to take out a bunch of vampire nuns.
Yeah, it's I really like this one too.
The art in that one was also really, really, really
Yeah.
good. And the colors were really great, just like, especially once in the church.
That transition.
Yeah.
And you can see like what kind of story it's supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Yeah. Religion is bad.
Yeah. And I think you're also supposed to see like the impact that like Angel had made in his past as well.
Right. Which I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm. We do not like Angel here, but it's fun. It's totally fine.
I've been rewatching Buffy, and I just get so mad every time he comes on the screen. Like, unreasonably, there's no reason I should hate a fictional character as much as I hate Angel.
And I mean, his relationship with Buffy was, you know, more loving and respectable than like her and Spike's relationship.
Well, yeah, because Angel never tried to fucking rape her.
Yeah, but then I'm still always just like Spike over Angel
every day, and I'm
my
so
brain.
conflicted by
Yeah,
it.
it's like, how do I have this disconnect?
I don't know.
How do I have this disconnect?
I know what a good person is, and I know Spike's not a good person,
No.
but I still just prefer him over pretty much anyone else. So I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I need to see a therapist.
You and me both.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Or not. Whatever. I know who I am. Okay, so next I was like, what is this?
I was like, are you okay? Did you
It's
forget
been
how
a
to
really
read?
long emotional week, and we both have tomorrow off, so I'm getting in like the fucking robot power down mode right now. Anyway, this is Reaver. This is issue number 8. It's part 2 of 5 in the little series called The Grim After, which takes place after the events of the first story arc. It doesn't say how long afterwards, but basically in the first story arc, this group of prisoners was put together to find this weapon called... I just had it in my head and I just forgot it. They were trying to find a weapon pretty much that was used by the enemy. Shit happens, a bunch of them die, a couple of them get out. They end up meeting up in here where Essen Brecker is trying, he's the berserk guy, he's trying to not kill anymore. He doesn't want to do it because he's been doing it for so long. He takes no joy in it. It's just something that happens to him. And the other character...
I'm telling you, we were so not prepared this week.
Yeah,
we were so bad.
Yeah, but anyway, she's a skin eater. She was... You get a little of her origin here, like how she became this and stuff, and how it's not a thing that you choose, it's something that's forced upon you.
Okay.
So it kind of goes... They have a lot in common in this that they talk about how, you know, like, some things in life you don't really have a choice with. You just have to accept it and like learn to live with it and shit. And I really like this story. I know we talked shit on the first issue because it was like very wordy, way too explaining and stuff, but honestly everything after that has been really good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you have really enjoyed this series.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that it did like do the pickup after the first issue.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm always like hard on myself for getting not past the first issue, but sometimes I'm just like,
I mean, I can understand why you didn't, though, because I almost didn't either, but I was like, I'm just going to give it one more just in case, and I'm glad that I did. But again, it's like, it's not for everyone. Like,
yeah.
I honestly don't even know if you would enjoy this story. I just, like, there's a lot of it that I do enjoy, and mainly there was one character that I really fucking loved, which is weird because he wasn't even the bad character.
Yeah.
He was, like, the best guy there. He was just super honorable, and he gets killed in the last issue of the first story arc, and I was so mad. So mad.
I do remember.
Because he goes out and, I mean, he does go out, of course, in a very honorable way. He's like, oh, kill me, use my blood. It's like, all right, dude, but why did you have to die? But I do really like all the other characters, too. So, like, continuing on and reading everything that's been happening in this latest story arc has not been an issue for me.
Okay.
Because I still just really enjoy it. And I like how, despite the fact that these two are, like, brutal killers, they're also just very sweet people.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do it, but they have to.
Patrick is asking if the weapon is called Reaver.
You know, I don't even know what to do with you, man. Every week it's something new. You come in here and you just destroy everything.
Oh, wow.
But no, it's called, God, I almost had it again. Okay, you talk about November. It's mentioned in here, so I'm just going to, like, take a little look-see.
All right, so
Rakala is her name. Sorry.
You're good. So I have November. I had to go back and read issue the first one because the second one came out, and I read the first one like a long time ago. I don't even remember when that was. So this is a crime mystery book. It's about 3 different girls or women during a night in the city where shit just like happens. The main character, I guess they're all main characters. Did you figure it out?
I did.
Go ahead.
The anvil. I kept thinking in my head I was seeing a weight, and I was like, I know what it's called. Okay.
So, this story, November, follows 3 different women on one night during just like the worst night in this city. So, the first character, Miss D, she is part of this weird crime thing where she's solving puzzles and talking over radio. The second character is Emma Rose, or M, and she finds a gun in a puddle in a alleyway, and she calls 911, and as she's calling them asking for the police to be sent, or like a non-emergency line, she is abducted by what appears to be policemen. And then the third character, this is the one character she is a 911 operator. I don't even remember.
I just want to say, Patrick, thanks for coming in every week and chatting.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, you keep it lively.
Well, regardless, the third character is a 911 operator who gets the call from the woman in the alleyway, and she kind of overhears what's been happening, and she has another, like this police officer 12-6 who is just being a straight up dickhead to her, and at the end of the call she hears like what has happened and what's transpired, and so she's just like, oh, what do I do next? So that is what happens in this issue, this first part of the book. The second part of the book delves into the backstory on Emma Rose, and it's kind of interesting. I really liked this beginning part and the story throughout this and how it kind of fell through, but she is flying a kite with all of her friends, and she's trying to get it as high as possible. So she ends up tying all of the strings of all of the kites together to make it go as high as it possibly can, including like taking off her like shoestrings. But like that memory is playing through while she is in the
I call foul. Those are shoelaces right there.
in the back of this car that she's been kidnapped in and she's trying to escape from. So as she's in the back of this car, she ends up going to this place and she meets up with Ms. D, and then the third character, our police operator, is trying to get to like the bottom of everything at the same time.
Is she doing her own like internal investigation because she doesn't know like who to go to?
I feel like that's kind of the case, and she knows what's happening. I don't know if I'm supposed to know what's happening, but I really love these books. The colors are really great. There's lots of blues. It seems to like kind of fall in line with like the covers.
Do the 9 panel. Oh dang.
So yeah, oh
like,
yeah,
9 panels?
yeah. There is. It's actually
12
panel grids on most of the pages, but they kind of follow the color scheme of the front of the book. So like this one's like a lot of blues and oranges and yellows, and then this one's a lot of like kind of darker browns and blues. So
Dang. No, that's really cool.
yeah, I really enjoy this book, and I think it's really interesting, and it does hit into that like the art is really like, I don't even know how to describe the art. Like it hits me sometimes and it misses me sometimes, but in an overall flow of like how the book is supposed to look and feel, it seems right and feels right. I also like the like fence pages between like a lot of the stories and stuff.
Yeah, no, I really like the art for it. Which that also, I don't want to rip that, I'm sorry.
You're good.
When I was reading that Lost Carnival book and I was confused about the color scheme, I figured out what it meant. By the way, I said I would come back here this week and say it.
Okay.
So the colors are different, like when he's outside of the carnival and then when he's in. That's how you know. It's not past or present or anything.
Okay.
It's just in the carnival
and outside.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's cool too.
Yeah, no, I honestly I had completely forgotten about it, and Derek the other day was like, "Did you figure it out?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "The color scheme." I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about, dude." And he's like, "Okay, so you didn't figure it out. I'll tell you." And I was like, "Damn, I would have never even guessed that." He was trying to tell me it was obvious, and I was like, "Well, then why didn't I figure it out?"
And that's like one of my favorite parts about comics, and like that little, I think a part of comics that's like insanely overlooked is just like how much like colors play into like stories and how much like those things mean, even if you're seemingly not noticing it. It's like, you know, like when I was reading Year Zero, and not until like I noticed the color changes, but I didn't like, it didn't sink in.
Right.
And that's like, I don't know, that's one of my favorite parts of like comic books as a media, is like that ability to like
not only drawing you in with the story, but with the art surrounding it.
Yeah.
To give it a certain feel, because that's how Isola was too, or is.
Yeah.
Like the different colors and stuff like evoke different feelings, which.
All right, so then lastly we have Red Mother.
Yes.
I got the cool cover because Heather likes me.
Yeah, I picked that one out. That was me. I gave myself just the regular old boring cover.
So I couldn't remember really what had happened, but then I did have a remembrance of, in the first part of the story arc, she is going back to where her fiance died. Okay, so this is where that starts off.
Or not where he dies, where he disappears.
Yeah. So this is where this issue starts off, is she is at this place and she sees the Red Mother and this big shadow creature, which I can't figure out.
Which I think is the father. I was gonna say Red Father.
I just thought it was her boyfriend, but then, because I couldn't figure out if he was trying to harm her. I just like how she just like punches the shit out of an old lady.
Yeah, I absolutely love that.
Because then I'm just like, was that old lady actually saying that, or was that something that she just like was like imagining in her head? And then so she just like punched an old lady in the face on the street and just like ran away.
Yeah, and that's why all these people are like trying to.
Yeah,
stop
they're
her.
just like, what the fuck?
Why would you just harm this old lady? You knocked her glasses off, man. But yeah, it's that, and then making big life changes that don't involve her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because they don't think that he's ever going to be found. There's a memorial, and there's future plans.
Yeah, I think, this is gonna, I'm very interested, especially to see like where it goes from like this point. Because this is like really kind of the determining factor of like how this book will continue.
And I'm unfortunately one of those people that even if the story ends up sucking, I have to stay on because I love Danny Lookart. I love his art so much. So even if it does get bad, I probably won't even read it. I'll just flip through and ooh and ah.
I don't think it'll get bad, but I just really think like, I don't know, that first story arc put the pieces in play. Like, you know who your characters are.
Right.
You know what, like, their intentions seemingly are.
But now what?
But now what?
Yeah.
Like, and once she gets to London and starts working for this man, like, how does that play into everything that's happened to her?
Right.
Because obviously, you know, it's all for some reason.
And where did her boyfriend go?
And where did her boyfriend go?
Yes. I'm very interested. I hope that it does keep me interested because I know a few other Jeremy Hahn books. I don't think that he's a bad writer at all. It's just sometimes he starts out really strong and then it doesn't go where I think it's gonna go, and so I get upset and I'm just like, I don't want to read this anymore. It's one of my few flaws.
And then that's all we have to say about comic books. I don't know. We want to say that if you are some form of racist or Nazi piece of shit, we want you to stop hanging out with us.
Yeah, I have no room for you in my life.
And
I have enough friends.
We only have 20 visitors every once in a while, but you know, we very strongly believe Black Lives Matter. I think that we've made it very clear that we don't like cops, and that police should be abolished, and that there are other ways to go about, you know, policing, if you will.
Handling civilians.
So, we just want to make that extremely, extremely clear in, you know, not so many words.
Yes.
Because we didn't think it out.
No. Also, just pay attention to the stuff that's happening around you. Help if you can.
Yeah. Help in
It's-
any way possible.
Yeah, it's not hard to be a good person, even though for some reason it is.
Yeah, it's insanely
I don't
hard.
understand that. Like, oh, I give money to charities. Okay, well then fucking help these people.
Yeah. So, you know, give your money if you can. You know, if you can speak out, speak out. Use whatever sort of, you know, performance.
Don't perform. We don't need
No.
performative activism in our lives either.
But use whatever soapbox, so to speak, that you have, and make sure you're speaking out against racism and things that people are saying that are shitty, and make sure those people know that they're wrong and that they shouldn't be saying these things. I don't think that's anything we need to preach to people, but I think it's something that needs to be said.
It's weird that we do have to say that. though. Like, hey, just be a good person. Don't judge other people based off of how they are born.
Yeah. And, you know,
That's wild. I'm sorry, that's wild to me. I will just never understand that.
And there's so many actions you can do if you can't go to protest, if you don't feel like you have that ability, if you've been quarantined, if you've been working, any of these things. You can sign petitions, you can make posters, you can make sure you keep an eye on police scanners if your friends are out there protesting. There's just so many options for you out there, and we hope you take those, especially right now. We hope you just take everything in without overwhelming yourself and just do the right thing.
Do what you can without exhausting yourself.
Yeah. And don't get hurt.
Yeah.
I've been continually been told this, to not get hurt, because I just, yesterday while we were at the shop, we saw a man with like a giant flag and a white pride shirt walking down the street, and I was ready to just murder him, I guess. I don't know what I was gonna do, but it was one of those things where I was just filled with so much anger that
Sorry, I just thought of our tag team name, Champ and the Jew, and
Jesus.
I'm
I know you're Jewish.
I just thought it'd be funny if we just like started tag teaming fucking anti-Semites and just beating them with Dave's
Beat stick.
beat stick that he keeps by the door, just for us.
Just for us
Yes.
to beat Nazis.
Yes.
But that is, you know, why these people are out doing these things, is to provoke and put you in places where you have the potential to be hurt. So,
Yeah, I guess like don't get hurt. Use your voice and be smart.
yeah, be smart
about your choices.
Yeah, and if you need any sort of information, hit either of our lines, because I think either of us have plenty of resources for any sort of things. If you're like going out to protest, you need links of charities to donate to, GoFundMe's, regardless. We got you. We
Yeah,
can
we got
help.
you covered.
We can help. So anyway, that's it.
So thanks for listening.
Thanks
to
for listening.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah, we did it. We love you. Go buy comics if you can. Support your local comic book shops. Anything?
Support your friends who are struggling.
Yeah.
Always.
Always. All right.
That's all.
Thank you.